Have you had that experience when you, I don't know, you do have something great happens to you, and it's gone, and it's like it's got this dream-like quality. Yeah, it doesn't feel wholly real. Whatever wisdom is, whatever reality is, remember it's not primarily an idea, and it's certainly not a theory. Whatever it is, the path towards it, first of all, just starts with your body. Yeah? One of the reasons why it starts with your body is because us in the modern world, I was going to say the modern West, but the modern West is almost everywhere now, are so heady, so abstracted, so analytical, and therefore fragmented. We don't realise, I think, sometimes just how fragmented we've become. We're more and more living in, in a cyber world. I was reflecting the other day on, if you notice, films have never quite managed to find a way of bringing in text messages to films. Have you noticed that? They do it in different ways. The little beep 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 pops up. Sometimes you see them on the screen. Sometimes, you have to, you can see that they're still trying to work out how to get text messaging into a film. Actually, as soon as you look at your phone, the whole universe is taken up by it. Really, the whole screen should just become the phone. It's not that you're still in the taxi or you're still walking in the country and there's little bubbles popping up. Your whole world, really, has gone into the phone for that moment. We're all doing it all the time. Yeah. So we tend to be, modern people tend to be, therefore, removed from their body and physical sensations, removed from their emotions, because emotions and the body are very related, tend to be more abstracted, analytical, tend to be stepped back from experience. You can see why it's then tempting to go from there to being rather jokey, ironical, even cynical, because you've distanced yourself already. Yeah? So, if we want to start to get any sense of reality, we need to go, we're like in a box canyon, we need to back out. We need to back away from all of that into the direct sensations of the body. Yeah? And the direct sensations of the body can get more and more deep. Your body has depth, just as your mind does. In fact, you can't really say what's mind and what's body. Philosophers, nobody understands that. Nobody knows how that works. Yeah? So any path to reality, to breaking through into reality, or whatever we're doing about reality, it starts with the body and starts with this non-fragment. You're trying to cultivate a state of non-fragmentation, yeah, where mind and body and heart and gut is all unified. Yeah, that state of non-fragmentation is absolutely key. You can't really get anywhere with insight reflection unless you've got that state of non-fragmentation. Otherwise, you'll be looking at your experience from a fragmented analytic perspective, and you'll get fragmented analytical answers. Yeah. So we need to all of us back away from all that, back into body sensations. And then we need to really emotionally open up. Yeah? So what I was doing now is just suggesting that you just bring to mind something that's moving, something that moves you. And of course, having a genuine laugh, it could be included in that. Yeah? We don't need to think of some sort of romantic moment. It's just when you feel more opened up. It's lovely, isn't it, to have a real laugh, when you actually have a proper laugh, where you actually find it funny and it's not at anyone's expense. Your whole system enjoys having a laugh. It's really good for you. Joanna Arch and I have these incredible laughs. It's very funny. You can feel it's like good for your whole system. Yeah. So the second part of this journey towards reality needs to be one in which your emotions are brought up to life, brought out, but they need to be stronger. They need to be more felt, and they need to be more positive, usually. Yeah, very, very easy to get more and more critical. One of the dangers as you get older, particularly, is you can get more and more stuck in in resentment and bitterness. Yeah, very, very easy to do that. I always think that resentment is the English way of hatred. You know, that everyone's very polite to you, but they resent you for the rest of their life. You know, it's a very, very English way of doing it. But as you get older, it is easy to, I don't know, notice slights, feel hard done by, resent people's actions, not being able to forgive. And that becomes more of a pressure on you as you get older. You can start to feel self-righteous. It's very, all of those things will just, if you don't work with your mind, that will just happen to you. You'll tend to become more embittered, more resentful, unless you've got a very, very healthy psyche already, and some people do. I didn't. But anyway, let's not go there. So yeah, for any kind of any valuable sort of movement towards reality needs to start with this non-fragmented, unified state of mind, which is particularly unified with your body, first of all. And really the way of deepening that unification is to bring the emotions into that, especially positive emotions. Yeah. So sometimes all you need to do in meditation is just, work with the body like that, watch the breath for a bit, and then just lightly bring to mind something that's really moved you, that made you feel like you open up a bit, and just imagine it again. I'm doing this quite a lot in meditation just now. I do a particular kind of meditation. But a lot of what I do to build up to my own reflections on reality is to really keep on creating the conditions for relaxation first, then really keep on feeling through the body so that your consciousness and your body become more and more unified. Even when you meditate, you can notice sometimes that you're almost looking at your body from your head. You say, become aware of your feet, and you sort of almost look down. I remember teaching children meditating. I said, okay, first of all, feel your feet. And everyone grabbed hold of their feet. And I thought, oh yeah, well, I have told you to do that. At least that's not abstracted, is it? It's very good. Yeah. So, first of all, really try to, I've been trying to sort of really get more and more embodied, and that has depth. You can keep on deepening that. And then I bring to mind often people in my life that have died, who I feel, who I loved and who loved me, and who I just felt, I'm all right, this is all right. I talked about my grandmother, I'll keep talking about her, but she just thought I was wonderful. I don't know why. I didn't, before I had a person to be wonderful, she thought I was wonderful. She said to my mother that I would be all right because I had character. But she was I think she just liked me because I nattered. So I lived next door and I'd just run round to my grandmother's. My grandmother always wore black. She'd worn black since her husband died 40 years before or something. She had these two very large Alsatians. So she'd sit there in this dark room with this black outfit, with these huge dogs. And for me it was like just walking into a world in which I was loved. And when you're loved, when you feel loved, guess what? You relax. You don't have to prove anything. You're already loved, so you don't need to feel strained. You don't need to think, I need to be clever. And I remember just feeling very, very happy. Yeah. Now, not everybody's had that in their life. I didn't have that in many ways from my parents for various reasons. So you can just imagine it. You can bring to mind people around you. You want to get that sense that you're loved, that you love people, that you can therefore relax, that you're moved, that life feels good, yeah? What that does, it actually integrates you even more. It unifies you even more. When you feel this sort of warmth and connectedness, in that very moment, even when you're having a laugh, you actually feel more unified. When you're having a proper laugh, you can. It all runs all the way through your body, doesn't it? You're not just thinking stuff. You're actually more unified when you're having a laugh. You can't get enough laughs in life, is my suggestion. We need, it's absolutely crucial. Not to have a sense of humour is a major issue. You need to go out and get one now. You are unsafe to be around. There should be some sort of health and safety warning. So that's the steps. First of all, you need to be unified. In other words, not fragmented, especially not sort of fragmented in your mind somewhere with those ideas. And you need to have this sense of emotional radiance and warmth. And both of those can become very, very strong indeed in meditation. Very, very strong indeed, much stronger than you'd imagine. You really can feel things like bliss and ecstasy and without taking the, and radiance and so on. Yes, you see, I've seen the world. I haven't actually ever taken ecstasy. I'm a bit before then. I used to do the old thing of getting drunk and falling down in the street, which I thought that was available when I was young. Things are different now. Anyway. But after you cultivated that for a while, this sort of sense of unity and warmth, and that lovely sense of it's all right, it's fine. There's no threat. Yeah, there's nothing for me to sort of be on alert for in a negative sense. I'm fine. It's great. It's fine. Yeah, a very, very healthy, ordinary human sort of place. And then you try to, if you want to, then you try and step a bit closer to reality. Yeah. So the best thing for me always is just to tell you what I'm trying to do in that way, because to be honest, I'm not very good at abstract thinking. In fact, recently I gave a talk, and a friend of mine asked to talk to me and said, "You're not very good at abstract thinking. Don't do it." Anyway, there you go. That's what friends are for. He was right. Yeah. So what I've been trying to do, last week Vajratara was talking about all things being flow, all things being impermanent. That's right, isn't it? Is that right? Look unsure. All things being a flow, all things being impermanent. And Buddhism is then going further, saying the traditional way of putting it is that all things are insubstantial, that they have no own being. This is how it's sometimes put. There isn't something behind things, and the example that's sometimes used is the grammatical structure of a leaf. We say a leaf, and then we say the leaf is very pale green, and it gets greener, and then it gets more waxy, and then it starts to darken, and then it gets light. Goes through all these phases, and the linguistic thing will be to create such a thing as a leaf, which goes through various stages. Yeah, coming into being, going out of being. But of course, it's just a language thing. There isn't something called a leaf separate from all the things that happen to a leaf. Yeah? It changing colour, it changing shape, it falling, it dying. There's not a leaf that's happening to, is there? That's just how language works. It's not how reality works. Yeah, and that's true of us. Yeah, that there isn't. Buddhism's trying to say there's not a self that things are happening to. Like things happening to a leaf. There is just the changing of colour, the changing of context, and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So it's trying to say that. What is it trying to say? Sort of thing. Sounds nuts. Anyway, here you go. This is what I've been doing anyway. One of the ways of putting that is that however much you deepen into life, there's something inevitably ungraspable about it. Yeah? Like a dream. I particularly noticed this on retreat. I've just come back from an intensive Christmas and New Year retreat where we were in silence for 8 days and doing a lot of meditation. And so you live in that context as vividly as you possibly can. And every night you go to bed and you think, was that real? It seems sort of dreamlike. Have you had that experience when you do have something great happens to you and it's gone? And it's like it's got this dreamlike quality, yeah? It doesn't feel wholly real. And it can even be, I think, I felt this all my life about myself. And am I blagging my way through this? I had this sense that I was sort of not really quite real. I have these recurring dreams where I'm about to go on stage in an opera. I'm quite fond of opera. And I'm about to go on stage in an opera, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be singing. And in one of this dream I had years ago, I was in this huge whale costume, standing at the edge of like the opera house, and someone said, I remember thinking, I had no idea what I'm supposed to do. So I walked on and it worked perfectly. Okay, how did I even do that? You know, I mean, that is what opera sounds like, isn't it? Probably not that hard, just go, you'll basically get that. But I thought that dream is sort of an intimation of wisdom, that from your own sense of yourself, you feel sort of unreal and shifting, and you can't grasp yourself. And I think other people can seem so real. My experience is other people seem so confident. And I think, what have they got to be confident about? But, you know, other people can seem so real in comparison with your own sense of yourself, you know? And that's just because your sense of yourself is the deepest part of reality you know. If you think of it, of all the things in the universe, the endlessly infinite universe, there's only one part of the universe that you know from the inside, and that's you. Yeah? There's no other part in the universe that you know like you know yourself. So that sense of shiftingness, of ungraspability, of dreamlikeness, is a prefiguration of wisdom. Yeah? That is what it's like, yeah. At least from one perspective. Any perspective on wisdom is a bit limited. So, for instance, what I've been doing, you know, I have to go to shops and I cook. I'm going to cook tomorrow. You know, I do stuff, and what I try to do is, as I'm walking down the street, I really look around at this world I'm in, yeah, like I might look at you now, and it all feels really real. You know, if I fall over, it will hurt me. If, you know, step into the street, it'll be dangerous, and so on. It feels very, very real indeed. And then I bring to mind another time when I was somewhere else. You know, last Christmas I was in New Zealand. I remember being in the sea and the coldness of the sea. I was just about to fly back. It felt really real. And it's not there now. And this feels really real, but in a moment it won't be there. Like, I was in this retreat I was on, we were walking around a stupa, a sort of monument with the ashes of a great teacher in it. And I was just thinking, this is as real as I can experience, and yet it's somehow dreamlike. And all you need to do is you look at it and then you just bring to mind another experience that felt just as real. And there's something in that for me, that's what I've been doing, that they're not fundamentally real. You can't grasp anything in life. You try to, we all try to, I try to, you try to. I not only try and grasp things, I also try to defend myself from things. It's interesting, the metaphor of grasping, because, you know, on one hand it's that, isn't it? But on one hand it's that. As soon as you grasp, you're both defending something and you're trying to take something, yeah? That's what the metaphor does. And your life isn't graspable. When you try and do, there's nothing in your hand. The more you try and get life, the more it slips through your fingers, yeah? So we'll finish with a short meditation, but what I want us to try and do this time is, I don't know, just what do I do? What I try to do is I just remember that this, you know, I have, for instance, I have quite a lot of physical discomfort for one reason or another, and it can be very, very uncomfortable, and I just try to feel it. It's real, you know, I'm not saying it's not real, but it's not fully real. It's not ineluctably real. It's not real from its own side. It's sort of dreamlike. And you just drop that in to this unified and emotionally enriched state of mind that you've cultivated. Yeah? You just remember that it's a bit dreamlike. Or it's a bit like being in a play. You don't really know what your lines are. It's not what it seems. That's what Buddhism is trying to tell you. That you've just kind of misunderstood your experience. That you've just got it a bit wrong. In fact, really very wrong. And if you could get it right, everything would be beautiful, endlessly mysterious, infinitely satisfying, with no self in the centre of it that's trying to stage manage it all. Yeah, we've got this little self constantly trying to get things we want, not get things we don't want, always trying to stage manage and curate our life, and it just doesn't exist. And you can just remind yourself that. So in a sense, you don't need to take your experience so seriously, even very painful experience. It's not what you think. There's something much more than what you think. Yeah, Buddhism again is saying you've just got it wrong. You're not bad, you're not evil. You've just misperceived your situation, and there's much more to your experience than you can possibly imagine. Yeah, it's incredibly positive in that sense. It's just saying you're satisfied with an incredibly restricted and limited life. Don't be. Why not? Why do that? Why don't you find a path to wisdom? Yeah? So let's have a little go at trying to do that. So as soon as you're ready, closing your eyes. And we're going to go through these 3 stages. First of all, closing your eyes, and again trying to open up to your body sense. And as I've said, the simplest way to start is the weight of your body, the pressure of your body on the chair or the cushion. Really feeling the support of the chair, the cushions. You're not thinking about it, you don't need to picture it. You're not sort of looking down at that sense of support from your head. You're just feeling your body supported. Pressure on your backside, on your knees if you're sitting on the floor, on your feet. And just sort of imagining your body calming down, resting down. This lovely sense that there's nothing really to do. Or you can just sort of sit back. Your body becoming heavier and warmer. Then tuning into your breath, especially just feeling the breath below the navel, sort of low down in your body. So your weight is dropping down. You can tune into the sensations of your breath below the navel. But you're having this sense that all that is sort of comfortable and easy. And then just bring to mind an occasion where you felt moved, when you felt sort of emotionally opened up. Just sort of bring that to mind again. See if you can get in touch with how that felt. So on the basis of this sense of feeling embodied, being a little bit more emotionally alive, just bring in this reflection that all of this, sounds around you, the feelings of your body, things that go through your mind, they're all a bit ungraspable, like a dream. Even your sense of yourself, even your sense of yourself meditating now, it's all a bit of a dream. It's not really like that. We don't know what it's like, but it's not really like that. So you can feel things and think things and sense the body, but it's all a bit dreamlike. So you don't need to take it too seriously. It's continually changing, and it's essentially ungraspable. And that's true of the sounds around you. It's true of your thoughts and emotions, your body. Your past, your history. It's all just a bit like a dream. So we can just let go of it all. There's nothing to hold on to. And just come back to the weight of your body on the cushions, on the chair.